Let me next introduce the former mayor of San Francisco, the former Speaker of the California Assembly, the Honorable Willie L. Brown, Jr. Come on up, Willie. Willie was a very close friend of Bernard's.
Thank you very much, James, for that very kind introduction. Mayor Shaft said, unfortunately, this is not a time that we would be celebrating because we've lost one of the Bay Areas, one of the state of California's, and one of the nation's most gifted corporate leaders. Bernard Tyson was extraordinary in many, many things. I loved, Libby, your description of how he would have acknowledged the three people that were being honored. Bernard was spectacular in his quest to make sure that in this wonderful world, people would have an opportunity not only for quality health and all the other things the mayor said about him, but also in the world of art. His wife, Denise, a gifted person in the world of the arts, highly educated therein. She and Bernard got together. I knew instantly that the art world was going to benefit like the health world had benefited. It was last Thursday night, out at the De Young Museum, was my last time interacting with Bernard. One of the most incredible times of acting with Bernard was when I was asked by the people at the Smithsonian if I could talk to Bernard Tyson and Kaiser about the potential for some help on the museum that the Congress had funded $350 million, $700 million project, matching revenue would be required. We went to see Bernard, and Bernard looked and said, "You asking for $5 million?" I said, "Not for me." And when I corrected it, it made it much easier. It was $1 million a year. And Bernard said, "All right, you can tell them I'm going to my board, and in 90 days, I should have a vote that's positive, but only one condition." I said, "What is that?" He said, "I don't want to serve on another board. And you will go represent Kaiser money on that board. So well, why don't you give me the check?" Bernard was wise. He did not give me the check. I went back to Washington, made the announcement, was immediately seated on the board. And it was kind of amazing because it was like a 5-year effort to put that museum together. Bernard Tyson and Kaiser was singularly, for 4 of those 5 years, number one in terms of resources. Bernard did that because he really wanted the African American community of this country to have its seat in the world of art and the history. And that's exactly what that institution is. And I said for 4 years, and in the 5th year, when we were near the end, and we were trying to get there, Oprah was on the telephone for the meeting, and she got annoyed that we were all talking so long. And she said, "Who is that making all that noise?" Somebody said, "It's Willie Brown. It's the guy that is number one on the money side." She said, "How much?" He said, "Well, a guy named Bernard Tyson had him come here with $5 million about 4 years ago." She says, "How much do we need?" And they told him, "Well, to get to 200 million, which is where we're supposed to be, we need another 8 million." She said, "If you shut the damn meeting down, I'll give the other 8 million." Bernard had no idea how forceful and how inspirational he could really extraordinarily be. And for those of you who have not witnessed Bernard had an incredible sense of humor. And he parlayed that sense of humor more often than not when he had the chance to talk about one of his friends or two of his friends in a public arena. He just did that less than a month ago here in San Francisco at the MOAD event. And it was in honor of Lord Dean, Lord and Bernard, two most prominent persons of color in the health world, illness and the healing world. Bernard was to introduce his friend, Lord Dean. Lord was almost in tears before Bernard finished. He cut him to ribbons. It was brutal. But it was Bernard doing the things that he does best, and that's really make all of us feel so good. And he made Lord feel better than Lord has ever felt in his life, even though he demeaned him dramatically. I now know that at this moment, Bernard was such a good person. He was so blindly honest and honorable and respectful of almost everybody. I'm sure that he is currently discussing with the Lord. I've got a list of friends that need some good words. Bernard, I hope I'm on your list.
Thank you, Mayor Brown.